Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm just going to give a few minutes to let people start joining us. We have a lot of people signed up for our webinar today with Roni Hirshenson and George Sa'adeh, and so we'll just give people a minute to get on, and then we'll get started. As you're coming in, I'm just going to say welcome. My name is Shiri Orion. I'm the Executive Director of the American Friends of the Parent Circle, and we're so glad to have you here today. I'm just giving participants a chance to log on, and we'll start in another 30 seconds. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Welcome again. For those of you just joining us again, my name is Shiri Orion, and I'm the Executive Director of the American Friends of the Parent Circle. The American Friends, for those of you new to joining us, we are an American 501c3 organization, and our job is to raise awareness and support for the incredible work of the Parent Circle that they do on the ground, promoting reconciliation between Israelis and Palestinians. There are more than 600 bereaved families that make up the Parent Circle, Israelis and Palestinians. All of them have lost a loved one to the conflict, and all of them have made a very extraordinary choice to choose reconciliation over revenge, to choose to sit here today, like these two incredible men that are with us, and speak in one voice together on the same stage and say that there is another way, that violence is not the only option, that we can engage in dialogue, that we can show understanding for the other side, that we can acknowledge the other side's narrative, that we can show empathy for the other side, and still our side can be valid. Our own truth and our own narratives can be valid. And that is a big leap because they've paid the highest price to the conflict. So for them to be able to say that, then surely anybody else can. And so members like Roni Hirshenson and George Sa'adeh, who are here with us today, two bereaved fathers, are really the soul and the essence, the spirit of the Parent Circle. And we use their stories to inspire hope and alternative ways of thinking among Israelis and Palestinians and internationals like you. Thank you to all of the people who have supported us and are with us here today. For those of you who have not yet had a chance to support us, I hope you will consider making a donation after you hear these incredible stories. Obviously, we can't do this work without you. The American Friends is the largest donor to the Parent Circle today. So just a couple of things about housekeeping. One is that this will be recorded, so we will send you the recording afterwards. Please feel free to share widely. Two, Roni and George will speak, and then we'll take questions and answers. At the end, the way that you ask a question is by writing your question, typing your question into the Q&A box. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a little icon that says Q&A, and I will facilitate the Q&A at the end. And I think that's it. So without further ado, Roni Hirshenson is Israeli. He's a bereaved father. He lost his son Amir in 1995. Tragedy again struck his family in 2000. Roni is an inspiration to us all. He's one of the founding members of the Parent Circle, and we're so grateful to have him here today. And George Sa'adeh is Palestinian. He lives near Bethlehem. George lost his daughter, Christine, in 2003. He and his wife, Najwa, are members of the Parent Circle. They joined almost right after they lost their daughters. So thank you both for being here today. Roni, will you begin and then we'll hear from George, and then we'll take questions.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Roni. Go for it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roni Hirshenson, and I'm 78 years old. I'm born in Israel, and the story concerning the parent circle started in 22nd of January 95. Was a suicide bomber blew himself on a bunch of soldiers. Amir was a soldier in the paratroops, and he was in the junction near Netanya. And when suicide bomber blew himself, it didn't hurt. He went to help the casualties, and then come another suicide bomber and blew himself, and Amir was killed. 21 soldiers and 1 civilian killed in that day. A few months after that, I got a letter from Yitzhak Frankenthal asking me to join bereaved families who support the peace process. It was also agreement ongoing, and in the head of the demonstration against Rabin was the bereaved families that says don't talk to the enemy. And for me, the day that Amir was killed, I thought to myself, Amir got killed not because of terror. He got killed because there is no peace in this region. So for me, in that moment, I said, I have to do everything I can to stop this, stop the killing, and try to bring some reconciliation between Israelis and Palestinians. Unfortunately, it's not the only tragedy I share, because in 28th of September, year 2000, the day that Arik Sharon went up to the Temple Mount, then start the second Intifada uprising. And the first soldier that killed, named David Beery, he was a close friend, like brother, to my younger son, Elad. Elad was soldier at that time too. So 3 weeks later, he commits suicide, leaving a letter that he can't stand anymore, lose his brother, lose his friend that was like brother to him. So one time I don't like to say it, as a victim of this conflict directly, and the second time not directly. Also, what I like to say is that all this loss that I share, it makes me more determined to do everything to bring peace. So since 1995, since we start working with bereaved families, Israelis, and soon there are many places that we go in Israel, they tell us, well, you know, you Israelis, you're Jewish, you love people, and you don't find anyone in the Palestinian side who is sharing the same view as you, like not asking revenge and try to find way to communicate with the other side. So we start to we went been to Gaza Strip several times and find people there, bereaved families that work with us and share the same ideas as we. And we accepted by the president of Israel, Ezer Weizmann there. He have a nice big reception for us. And since then, we do many things to try to humanize the conflict, try to see the other as the same as you. And the Palestinians that live under occupation, they have the right, to try to get their freedom, to be like us. And what we do is going and make some events and make some projects together with the Palestinians that shows that negotiation and dialogue is the way to bring peace to this region. That's in short.
Wow, thank you, Roni.
You're welcome.
Wow, your loss is huge and your inspiration is even bigger. George?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, it's your turn.
Well, okay. Thank you, Roni. Thank you, Sherry. Welcome, everybody. My name is George Sa'adeh. I am a Palestinian from Bethlehem. I am 59 years old. I born in 1961. I finished my school at Bethlehem. You know, Bethlehem, it's a famous city for the Christian word where our Lord Jesus Christ born in Bethlehem. Yes, I'm a Christian. I belong to a Bethlehemite family since my grandfather was the first mayor of Bethlehem during the Turkish Ottoman Empire when they were occupying the Middle East. So I born in Bethlehem. I finished my study at Terrasanta High School. Then I went to United States of America. I was dreaming to be, I like flying and planes. So I continue my study in the University of Southern California at LA, United States. Then I graduated by the August 1983. I returned back to Bethlehem. Well, as you know, Bethlehem under occupation from the Israeli, under the Israeli occupation till now. And in 1986, I got married to my wife, Najwa. In 1987, I had a little girl, Marianne, at that time. She got born in 1990. Christine born, so I had two daughters. And, you know, life goes on. I didn't work in my field of study as an aerospace engineer because there is no chance to work in this field back home. And life goes on, you know, the first Intifada, I'm monitored the war of the 6 days in 1967, then the war of Sinai in 1979, the war of Lebanon, 1983. Also the first Intifada started in 1987. And we were very happy by the year of 1994 when Chairman Yasser Arafat and they start negotiating and they went to Oslo and Madrid and all these agreements that at the end maybe there will be a solution. But unfortunately, when we reached the year of 2000, where we had the celebration of 2000 years for the born of our Lord Jesus Christ, and at Bethlehem, it was a big celebration. By September of 2000, started the second Intifada when Mr. Sharon, the Prime Minister, visited Al-Aqsa and started the second Intifada, where they call it Al-Aqsa Intifada. Started between the September 2000 till the end of 2005. All this thing happens in our life, and we still, till now, nothing of Oslo Agreement or Madrid or Camp David came to any solutions between the Israelis and the Palestinians, because Israel did not, it's not recognizing the rights of the Palestinian, and even they don't recognize the Palestinian, their rights in the lands here till now. And the second Intifada, they build the separation wall that they separate us from each other, from the Israelis and the Palestinians, because we had many friends from both sides, but we couldn't meet each other because we need permits to reach each other and to meet our friends from both sides, Israelis and Palestinians. Well, my story starts on the 25th of March 2003 at 6:30. I was with my wife and with my two daughters, Marianne and Christine. We were driving in the midtown of Bethlehem, going to a supermarket to buy some food. Unfortunately, we saw an Israeli army checkpoint. We saw the Israeli jeeps, army jeeps parked aside, but I didn't see soldiers as usual when they used to stop us at the checkpoint, checking our IDs and asking us where you're going, from where you're coming. When I approached them in the car, they start shooting at my car from all the direction. I didn't know what's happening. And I got injured myself with 9 bullets, and Christine, she got injured in the neck and the head. Marianne, she got injured too, and Najwa, she got hit with many shrapnels. It was a very strange thing for us. What's happening? We start screaming, stop, we are only civilians. But the shooting for 15 minutes, and they stopped, and we start screaming. I noticed that Christine, she got hit badly, and all of us, we got hit. And for 15 minutes, they didn't, anybody come to rescue us. We start screaming, please help us. And after 15 minutes, an Israeli army jeep parked aside and start trying to help us. They siege the area and they bring the army ambulance car. And Najwa, my wife, she carried Christine between her arms, and we sat at the ambulance army jeep, and 5 soldiers, they sit in front of us, facing us, and they transfer us to the northern checkpoint of Bethlehem. But Christine, she didn't make, they tried to rescue her, she didn't make it. She died on the spot. They transferred the 3 of us, me and Marianne and Najwa, to Hadassah Ain Karim Hospital. And I went through an operation. Thanks God, I'm still alive, working for peace and justice, and continue my servicing my people at my home. This has happened very badly, you know. When we Najwa, she used to, during the day, she went for the funeral for Christine. I was hospitalized with Marianne, and she used to come at the night, spending at the hospital with us. And it was a very, very hard moments for us. You know, losing our daughter, we didn't know what's the reason and why they shot at us. But later on, we discovered they were ambushing the Israeli Army Special Squad. They were ambushing 2 wanted people, as they claim. I came first in my car. They thought this is the wanted car, and they start shooting at my car, and they wanted car. They came behind me and they shot at them, and they killed the 3 people in that car. They killed my daughter, and they injuring us. It was very difficult for us. It was the biggest funeral in the history of Bethlehem. Everybody attended, more than 50,000 people. Even many Israeli Jewish friends, they sneak in and they attend the funeral at that time. You know, Najwa, she suffered many difficult moments because she used to come during the day for condolences and at night spending it with us. The incident turned our life 180 degrees, unfortunately. After 1 month from the incident, I received a phone call, and they said, we want to meet you. And I checked whom I'm speaking with. They said, we are Israelis, Jewish families. We want to meet you at near side border at Beit Jala. So at that time, I was thinking with my wife and my daughter, well, it's strange, you know, these people, they are calling me after their soldiers, what they did. But I don't have anything, a hard feeling for anybody. And we decided to meet them. So it was something strange. We met them at the restaurant and we sat together. We discovered that they are parents, fathers and mothers. They lost their children and like us. And since that time, we became friends. We became like brothers and sisters, and my wife and Roni, Robi, Rami, we became like brothers and sisters, and even more, and best friends since that time, 17, 18 years ago. It was something strange that these people, these families, these fathers and mothers, they lost their children, they can come and sit, listen to their stories, feel the sadness, feel what happened to them, because we don't like to kill each other. We are all human beings. We are human. And what's happening to us, something strange. It's against our will. And to lose our beloved people, to lose our sons and daughters, for the sake of what? Unfortunately, since that time, I joined the bereaved families, the parent circle, and we started working side by side together for the sake of justice, for the sake of peace, for the sake of ending the suffer, because we don't want another families, we don't want another fathers and mothers to suffer like us. So with our hearts, with our love to others, with our forgiveness, at our tolerance and our love to each other, we want this suffer to end. We don't want another families to suffer like us. And this is the whole story about it. Since that time, we are speaking out, we are meeting people, we are trying to fix things. We want our 2 nations to live side by side together, and we want to end this thing. But unfortunately, till now, people are getting crazy. I don't know why they like war, why they like occupation, why they like killing each other. For the sake of what? For the sake of the land. There's enough land for us to live side by side like human. Where's our humanity? I don't think, Roni, the blood, you have a blue blood and you have a red blood. We are all human. The same blood running in our veins, the same blood running in Rami's veins, and all of us, we are human. Even if we have different religion, but we believe in one God. There's no difference between a Jew, there is no difference between a Christian and a Muslim. In the eyes of God, we are the same. We'd like to live freely. We like to live good neighbors. We like to share life together. We want to build a better future for our children and grandchildren. This is what we want. I don't want this wall separating us. I don't want the killing. We want our freedom like other people. We want respect. We want law and order. We want security for everybody. This is what we want. Believe me, what I believe, life is very short. A week ago, my mother died. This is a natural thing. All of us, we're going to die now or later. But what's the sake of fighting each other? What's the benefit? Money, land, power. All of us, we are leaving all these things, except our memories, except our kindness to each other, except our love to each other. This is what will exist in the future, in the memories and our history. We don't want a bad history. We want a good history, our children to remember us, to remember everybody. This is what we want. We want peace. We want justice. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Wow, and we will remember Amir and Elad and Christine and all of those who have been lost in the name of peace and justice. And we will continue to work in their memories. Thank you both. You both have such heartbreaking stories, and you have endured so much. What do you think about when you hear the other story? Roni, when you hear George's tell his story, what goes through your mind, and vice versa? George, when you hear Roni's story, what do you feel in your heart?
I feel it's like, it's like for me to lose another child. When he talk about Christine. Christine is my child. It's my daughter that I lost. It's not a big difference. It's so hard to hear him, talk about it. And Najwa, she goes with the picture of Christine here. Every time I look at her, such a nice girl, pretty girl. It's no word to describe the pain that we share. But Christine is my daughter.
I have the same feeling. His sons, Roni's sons, they are like my sons. They are like a Christine. They should live. They should enjoy life. They should get married. They should have children. They should graduate from universities. This is normal life. Why me and Roni, we have to suffer? We would like to enjoy life. We will be very happy when our children enjoy life. We missed all this. We missed all this. So we can feel the pain of each other. We can feel the suffer of each other. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. We carried them with us every day, every year. We remember at any feast during the days when their birthday. It's hard to raise our children. And you lose them in a matter of seconds, in a matter for the sake of what? So this is the most important thing, that we feel the pain of each other. And Roni's children is my children, and my children is the Roni's children. This is the meaning of life. This is the meaning of humanity. This is the meaning of love and respect. And truly, we feel each other. We hope that the people feels with us, and try to have solutions. We want to monitor justice. We want to monitor stopping this thing, stopping the killing. We want to visit each other. We want to enjoy life. I want to visit Tel Aviv freely. Roni, I think he wants to visit Bethlehem freely, without any fear, without any borders, without any checkpoints. We want our children to meet each other. If they live, they can raise families, they can enjoy life, they can make trade together. This is life. And we are at the same time human, feeling with each other. Thank you.
Thank you both. I'm letting people start typing in their questions in the Q&A. And questions are starting to come in. So I will read the question, and whoever would like to answer can, unless it's addressed to a specific person. We have a question. How do either of you reconcile the Israeli and Palestinian desire for peace with the fear Israelis and Jews worldwide have of the Arab desire to wipe Israel off the face of the earth?
For me? Well, let me tell you, Sherry, I believe hard questions for Roni and easy questions for...
Okay, hard questions for Roni. This is a hard question.
Okay.
It's a real question that we get in many places.
Yes.
Roni, you're on mute. Roni, you're muted.
Yeah, I'll say, listen, it's all, it's very simple, you know. You just have to communicate. You communicate with the other. You start communicate, and then very soon you find something to agree with him. Even a small thing, doesn't matter what. And then start the empathy. You empathize the other because you have something in common with him. So we are human beings, and we have to communicate. And by what leaders do now, or the extremes, they build walls between us, physical walls, like around Bethlehem, between Israel and so we can't, it's hard to communicate. And there's the only way is by meet each other and communicate, and we can solve any problem by that.
Well, for me, I want to say the myth that Israelis and Jews, they are afraid, and the Arabs that they're going to throw them in the sea and to kill them. Let's stop this thinking. Let's stop this thinking. This fear is it's not real. Nobody wants to kill Israelis. Nobody wants to throw the Jews. Let's stop the fear, because you have many from the Holocaust. We understand this, but someday you have to stop the fear. And to feel the pain of others, you have to get rid of this fear so you can live. Look, you can live side by side with us. We have to face reality. This is not true. We don't have a heart feeling. We don't want to kill the Jews. We don't want to throw them at the sea. This is all things, all thinking that they put in the heads of you people. We want life. We want peace. This is what we want. When you start recognizing the others, when you stop the fear in your hearts and in your brains, when you stop teaching your children about what happened in the massacres of the Jews in Germany or in Europe, the Palestinians, they opened their lands for you. They opened their lands for your ancestors to come and to live here side by side. But unfortunately, the fear in you destroys everything, destroys the life. We want to stop this fear and to start a clear, wide, love life with your neighbors. We want you to feel the fear also of the Palestinians, because they are human beings. They don't hate you. Just we want to live like normally, like others. This is what we want in our lands, in our homes. This is where I born. I want to live side by side by you, and to communicate and to be neighbors, good neighbors. This is what we want. And to stop thinking these things, negotiating together, meeting each other, to understand the fears of each other. this is how we become friends. This is how, like we took, our friends Roni, Rami, Robi, they stopped this fear and they met us. And we stopped our fear and we met them, and we discussed all these things. The fear vanished and we became friends. This is what we want. Do we want these two nations, great nations, Israelis and the Palestinians, to stop the fear, to stop the war, to stop the occupation, and to become friends so that we can end this miserable life for all of us?
You know, what George and Roni, they started to hit upon certain important pieces of the work of the parent circle. Roni mentioned dialogue, actually having the opportunity to sit together and have a conversation and communicate with the other side. And George is really referring to things about our historical narratives and our national narratives and the fears that we grew up with and the narrative of both sides. And these are principles that we use in the projects of the parent circle. We take Palestinians and Israelis to Yad Vashem so that they can see the Holocaust and understand the fear. There is a fear and it needs to be understood and needs to be recognized. And George is saying, we need to see that fear. We need to recognize it. We need to name it. We need to give it legitimacy, and we need to continue, and we need to overcome, and we need to find a way to recognize the fears of the other side as well. So I think you're witnessing here today exactly the work of the parent circle. We hear these incredibly intense and heartbreaking stories, but as you can see, Roni and George don't want you to just sit here in the sadness of their stories, right? They want us to do something. They want us to make a change in ourselves, and they want to make change in other people.
To reach reconciliation. This is the way. Yes.
Everything that we're talking about is the process of reconciliation, right? Reconciliation isn't just one act. It's a journey. It's a whole path, a whole process. So many questions.
It's a hard journey.
You would know. Let's see, where should we go next? Here's an interesting question from Cynthia. Have either of you or your organization been invited or allowed to participate in peace negotiations between the two governments? Roni, it's on mute.
Actually, you know, politicians is not it's not a target for us. We like to talk to the people. Politicians, they need to be elected again. So all their work is to see where is the wind is going, and they go with the wind. They don't go against anything. Well, in both society, bereaved families have respect. So we use it so people can, it's open doors and people listen to us. But to change somebody's opinion, ideas, it's a long journey. You have to meet, like we go in school, we go to high schools and talk to students again and again and again. And it's put actually a question mark on some ideas that they had before. But it's a long way to go, you know, but as I said, you know, we have to meet each other. And as we meet each other, then the walls are falling and we can understand each other. It's very simple. It's not complicated at all.
Well, for me, the politicians, they are meeting, but not us. They are not inviting us because we are not politicians. We are not involved in direct politics, but we are trying to serve the cause of peace by, as Roni mentioned, by meeting the people, by having projects trying to facilitate and trying to give an ideas about our two nations, the grassroots, but we are not politicians. So that's why we haven't been invited in negotiation or any political meeting. But we try to do our best as people to people and try to tell the people about our stories and try to let the international community knows what's happening on the real ground, so they can judge and they can know about our life, how we are living, and to help us to emphasize and to communicate their politicians and to try to help us to reach peace.
There are a number of questions coming in about how you both are accepted or not accepted in your communities, since there's so much blame on both sides. And also there are a number of questions to you, George, about being a Christian Palestinian and how you are accepted or not accepted with your beliefs amongst Palestinians. Is there any animosity against you? What kind of reactions do you get in your societies? And I'm also curious, I would add to that, how that's changed. I mean, you both have been doing this long, tedious process of reconciliations for many, many years now. So are you better received now in your communities? Are you facing harder times with your messages now than before? Oh, we lost George. So Roni, it looks like you're going to answer first. There you go.
Okay. Well, it depends, you know. My family, of course, friends support me, but some things that I'm out of my mind, you know. He lost his sons, then something happened to him. He lost his mind, and he's trying to talk to Palestinians or he believes he can make peace with the Palestinians. Those skills his son, he tried to reconcile with him. It's crazy, something like this. But those people, they didn't meet someone like George. They didn't meet Palestinians. Once you meet the other and you talk to the other, then all your ideas can change because you find a new truth, not the truth that you believed in before. The new truth of life you find when you meet really someone, not something that you thought is true. The truth is in the present time. What you see by yourself, what you meet people by yourself, not hearing something, and you know what you hear in the media. And the media, they always show the extremes thing. There's many Israelis, especially young, they didn't meet face by face any Palestinians, and they have an idea about the Palestinians. And so this is what we're trying to change, try to bring community to meet each other.
George, we lost you for a minute, but you're back. The question was, how are you received in your community, especially being a Christian Palestinian?
Sorry, I disconnect. The internet disconnected me. I missed the question. Could you please tell it to me again? Sorry.
It's okay. The question is, how are you received in your community, in the Palestinian community? Do your friends and family, how do they accept your ideas about talking to the other side? And especially being a Christian Palestinian, how are you accepted or not accepted by your community?
Well, our community, they are accepting us, and nothing changes if I'm Christian or a Muslim. I am at the beginning, at the end, a Palestinian and the father of a martyr, and all the respect from our community. We have the full respect, and people on respecting us here. Sometimes we have difficulties when we are speaking about peace, reconciliation, and love and forgiveness. When there is a problem, a killing in Gaza or any other place, and they say what you are speaking about, and still people are in prison, and there is a shooting and there is a killing. It's very difficult from that side for us, you know, working in such an atmosphere and speaking about peace. Sometimes it's very difficult for us, but nevertheless, we are not all the respect to our Palestinian people. They are respecting us, and they are. We have a democracy in listening to us. No matter what we are saying, the people, some people, they like it, some people, they don't like it, because, you know.
I think we lost George again, his internet. Hopefully he'll be able to come back on. There are a couple of questions here asking about the activities of the organization and the activities today. And if you guys don't mind, I would answer them. So Paul is asking about how many members are in the organization, how many Palestinian and how many Jewish, and do they meet regularly? Could you describe the ongoing activities of the membership? And then Nancy is asking about the pandemic, if it's increased the awareness of opportunities for Israelis and Palestinians to meet, and the barriers posed by the pandemic. And those are two really good questions. So we have about 620 bereaved Israeli and Palestinian families. It's about equal. There's probably more families on the Palestinian side. They make up the membership of the parent circle. They make up the sort of decision-making bodies. But we have a on-the-ground staff of 12 people, Israelis and Palestinians, 2 offices, one near Tel Aviv and one right outside of Bethlehem in Bet Jala. We have 2 directors. We have 2 project managers, and we are running projects on the ground every day. And in the pandemic, it looks very different than it did previously. So previously, like for example, what you heard today, Roni and George would go to, let's say, an Israeli high school, share their stories, talk to the students, have them ask questions. We would also work with the teachers beforehand. We're starting a new project now where after Roni and George would speak in the high school, the students then have the opportunity to then participate in like a dialogue leadership program. We have a great project called the Parallel Narrative Project, which I alluded to before, about taking Israelis and Palestinians to Yad Vashem. We explore it's not just that, but we explore the historical and national narratives of each side and develop relationships. And all of these programs that I'm talking about are for non-bereaved Israelis and Palestinians. So we use the stories of Israelis and Palestinians to inspire the broad community, both in Israeli and Palestinian side. So a lot of people often misunderstand the organization that it's just for bereaved people, but it's not. It's the bereaved people sharing their stories to inspire peace with non-bereaved Israelis and Palestinians. We have a summer camp. We work with young adults to be the next sort of leadership group of the parent circle. We have a very active and energetic women's group, which I personally has a deep place in my heart for. In terms of the pandemic has, affected all of us, obviously. In terms of it bringing Israelis and Palestinians to meet, there's pros and cons. So first of all, nobody needs a permit anymore, which is good because you can't get a permit today anyway. So in the past, all the Palestinians had to get permits to go to the Israeli side, and there are no permits being issued today. And luckily we have Zoom. So Palestinians and Israelis, we're doing all of our programs are now online. All of our dialogue meeting, our young ambassadors, our women's group, everything that we did with youth is all gone online, and we don't need a permit for it. Actually, many of the members say, wow, I can actually now see you in your home. I can see your family. I can, meet people that we haven't been able to meet. But we are not yet sure about the quality of that meeting. So we're studying it, we're evaluating. When we used to do like a weekend away and bring Israelis and Palestinians together for a weekend, you can go off and have a conversation, you can have lunch together and share a conversation that way. And those things are not possible, over Zoom or over the internet. So we're evaluating our project. That all of our projects that we've moved online, and we shall see how it impacts the quality of the meeting. But obviously we can do many, many, many more activities, right? We don't have to bus people. We don't have to get venues. So we shall see. Did you guys want to add anything to that?
Well, we are learning the pandemic, as you mentioned, let us learn something new, how to connect with each other. But we are active. We are meeting each other. We have elections also by using Zoom, and the people who are working, they were successful. So we are trying to manage a new way of meeting, a new way of connecting to each other. No more permits, as you mentioned, and this is something good. But we are learning, and this is and it needs a lot of work and a lot of responsibilities and a lot of arrangement and a lot of education in this field of online and all these things for some people who are connecting newly and using this IT programs.
It's really amazing.
Yes.
In many ways, we're lucky. I mean, there's so many comments. I want to read to you guys some of the incredible comments that are coming in. A comment for George and Roni. The questions of how you resist the animosity around you are understandable, but my message for you is that you two beautiful souls are focused on love and the possibility of what you can create, not the difficulties around you, and just keep doing it. That's just one of the many, many things that are coming in. Arnie says, the work you are doing is so vitally important. Given the new Biden administration and the new Israeli agreements with the UAE, Bahrain, and Sudan, there will likely be renewed effort for Israeli-Palestinian peace in order for more agreements to be reached. It is time for courageous Palestinian and Israeli leadership to step forward. The human face the Parent Circle can provide can be vital to this effort. Thank you for your great work. You guys have a lot of supporters here. In the US. We've had more than 80 people here with us today. We're so grateful. Do you guys, there's still more questions and coming in. Nancy says, you are both remarkable. Thank you for sharing your powerful and painful stories. Is there anything you'd like, closing words, anything you'd like to leave us with before we have to say goodbye?
Yeah, I would like to add something.
Please, Roni.
Else, it's the past is a very heavy charge, I'm carrying, but I'm looking for the future. And I have 3 daughters and 7 grandchildren that all living here in Israel. And what I like to ask, we need your support, all the audience, and we need your support. Without it, we can't go on. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Roni.
For me, every time I am very happy when I be with Roni, Rami, and all the people that I loved in this family. And as you know, what we want from you people in the United States, our friends in the United States, we want your support to continue for a better future, as Roni mentioned. But also, we don't want you to be a pro-Israeli or a pro-Palestinian. We want you to be a pro-justice. How you want to be a pro-justice? Supporting us. This is the first thing. Second of all, please tell the people there is 2 nations here in the Holy Land. They want to have peace. We want you to help us to have peace and to have justice here. And I really appreciate the efforts of our friends of the Parents Circle in the United States. We have many, many friends and many supporters that we are honored, that they are helping us, and the more supporters that encourage us to continue for the future. Encourage all these sad families for a hope that someday, with your help, that we're going to reach justice and peace and to end this occupation. And this is the power of our friends helping us to reach peace. Thank you.
Thank you, George. It's really our honor to know both of you and know so many of the members of the Parent Circle. And something that I've learned from many years of work with the Parent Circle is that after we hear stories like George's and Roni's stories and all of the stories that we hear, we have a responsibility. We leave with a responsibility, and that responsibility is to do something. Whether it's the smallest thing of liking us on Facebook or signing up for a newsletter or making a donation or bringing us to speak in your community, whatever it is that you can do right now, that is our responsibility. And I walk away with both being honored and privileged to know you and a sense of responsibility and duty. So thank you both very much for sharing your stories, your hearts, and your minds with us today. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. We shall see you soon.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All the best and love for all of you.
Yes, and stay healthy and safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.